Hey y'all. All right, for this assignment, we're going to be talking about texture in art. We haven't talked about it before. So let me go through what the definition is in a couple of examples. So texture is defined as the look or feel of an object of something. Everybody knows what texture is without defining it. Like my sweater has a different feel than my t-shirt, than my skin, than the table that this laptop is sitting on. All right. In art, there are two types of texture. There is implied texture and real texture. So let's stop at implied texture first. So let's look at this adorable pencil drawing of this dog. This right here, if you were to touch this pencil drawing, it wouldn't feel like dog fur, would it? No, of course not. It would feel like pencil on paper. But if we look, we understand what that texture is because most of us, if not all of us, most of us, all of us, have pet a dog before. So we can imply, we can imagine what that texture is like, even though if we were to touch the picture drawing of the dog, it wouldn't feel like fur. That is implied texture, implied texture. The second type is real texture, and that is what a thing actually feels like out in space. So let's say that this good, adorable dog comes strolling up to you and even pat on the top of the head. Now, the texture that you'll feel is the real texture of the fur, as opposed to, let's say if you were to touch a photograph of this dog, it wouldn't feel like fur, right? That is the difference between implied and real. Okay, real texture is what it actually feels like in the real world, and implied texture is a way of showing a texture without it actually feeling like the texture. Okay, so for this drawing assignment, you are going to be creating a texture set of hands. I'll show you an example right here. So this example is just of one hand. Okay, you're actually going to be doing this with both hands because this is the only assignment that I'm assigning you this week, so it needs to have appropriate rigor. Now, here are the requirements. You must demonstrate on your texture hands a minimum of 10 different implied textures. 10 different implied texture. You're going to achieve this by using a pencil. So for this project, all you need is a pencil and a piece of paper. I'm going to show you how to set up your paper, but then it's going to be up to you to do a little research and find your 10 implied texture that you're going to add. Now, at the end of this video, I do have some stills of different types of texture. So at the very end, after all of the instruction, I say goodbye and all of that kind of stuff, you can go to the end and then pause it and look at the different textures. But again, for this drawing assignment, you have to demonstrate 10 different types of implied texture on your hand drawing. All right, so get a piece of paper, it doesn't matter what size, and a pencil, it doesn't matter anything you have laying around, and I'm going to show you how to get it set up. All right, y'all, the setup on this project is super de-duper simple. Now, if you're an advanced student and you want to add a little more life to your hands, you can. But this is honestly, even for advanced students, this is kind of a great start to get the hand shape. So remember, we're going to work on implied texture, and we're going to use our hands. And I mean, what better way to get our hands on the paper than to just trace them? I am talking about second grade turkey hand project. So I'm going to take my hand over here, and I'm just going to trace both my hands, just right here. This is really the only... You're going to need paper big enough to do both your hands. If you cannot find paper big enough to do both of your hands, bada bing, then I'll allow you to shrink it down. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm actually going to have my thumbs overlapping. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. It's so hard. The pencil wants to go all over the place. So take your time. Boom! Okay, so now I have the template that I'm going to fill in my implied textures. From here, the sky's the limit. You can divide these hands however you would like. Right after these instructions, I'm going to show you the examples and also some different types of texture that you are more than welcome to use. So stay tuned for the examples of the hand texture, and then also just kind of like some pages of different texture items. Just a couple of tips, a couple of different ways you can organize this. You can organize this where the fingers kind of create these like tunnels, and so you'd have one texture here and one texture here. Or you can do something completely different. You can have the fingers be all different textures, but then one texture here in the palm. The layout of your implied textures does not matter to me. What's more important is that you have all 10 incorporated in there. You do not have to color this assignment, since I know a lot of you don't have your supplies at home, so just using a regular old pencil is fine. If you want to color them, obviously you can. When you're finished, be sure to take a nice clear photo and upload it to Google Classroom. Like I said a minute ago, stay tuned for some examples in texture, and I cannot wait to see what you all do on this. Have fun, and I'll talk to you soon.